In the year 3047, humanity had clawed its way into the galactic arena. The Galactic Council, a coalition of ancient and powerful alien species, ruled over the cosmos with an iron fist. Earth had become a minor player in this vast political machine, with humans seen as ambitious but reckless newcomers. Among them was Rynna Carrow, a bold explorer and an outspoken critic of the Council's oppressive policies. Her latest expedition would change everything. Rynna's ship, the Starchaser, hummed quietly as it drifted through the shadowy expanse of Sector 12B. Her destination was an uncharted planet rumored to hold relics of a forgotten civilization, the Erythians, beings whose technology and understanding of the cosmos were said to surpass even the Council's. For Rynna, this was more than an archaeological pursuit. It was a chance to uncover a power that could challenge the Council's tyranny. Her crew consisted of 4 members, each hand-picked for their expertise. Rynna, the ship's engineer, was a wiry man with a knack for coaxing miracles out of failing machinery. Zara, the ex-military pilot, had nerves of steel and a penchant for sarcasm. Dr. Elias Trent, an alien linguist and historian, provided the academic muscle for their endeavor. And finally there was Cora, a medic who had joined the mission to escape a troubled past. As the Starchaser approached the planet's orbit, Rynna leaned over the control panel, her gaze fixed on the swirling green and blue orb below. Lights flashed off and on. "This is it," she murmured. "Prepare for descent. Rynna, keep an eye on the engines. This atmosphere looks volatile." Rynna's voice crackled over the comm. "Got it, Captain. Engines are running smooth so far, but I'll be ready for anything." The descent was turbulent. Violent winds battered the ship and lightning illuminated the thick clouds surrounding them. Zara's hands flew over the controls, her jaw set in concentration. "This planet doesn't want visitors," Zara muttered, her voice steady despite the chaos. "But we're not turning back." Finally, they broke through the storm. Below them stretched a vast jungle, its canopy shimmering with bioluminescent flora. Towering mountains ringed the horizon, and in the distance a massive structure rose from the forest like a sentinel from another age. "There it is," Elias whispered, his voice tinged with awe. "The Erythian Citadel." They landed in a clearing near the structure. As the ship's engines powered down, the crew gathered at the airlock. Rynna donned her exploration gear, a sleek suit equipped with environmental regulators and a built-in HUD. She checked her plasma pistol, holstered it, and turned to her team. "Stay sharp, we don't know what's out there," she said. The jungle greeted them with a cacophony of sounds, alien bird calls, the rustle of unseen creatures, and the occasional distant roar. The air was thick and humid, carrying a faint metallic tang. They moved cautiously, their path lit by the glow of the plants around them. As they approached the citadel, its sheer scale became apparent. The walls were covered in intricate carvings, depicting scenes of celestial phenomena and beings with elongated forms and glowing eyes. A massive doorway, sealed by what appeared to be an energy field, blocked their entry. "This isn't ordinary technology," Elias said, running his fingers over the carvings. "It's a blend of art and science. The Erythians didn't just build, they created." Rynna examined the energy field with a portable scanner. "This barrier's powered by something massive. I'm not sure how to disable it without frying ourselves." "Simple." Rynna studied the carvings, her instincts telling her there was more to them than met the eye. "Elias, do you recognize any of this?" The linguist nodded, his eyes scanning the patterns. "It's a star map. And here, this symbol. It's a key. If we align the carvings to match the constellation, it might deactivate the barrier." The team worked together, rotating sections of the carvings. As the final piece clicked into place, the energy field shimmered and dissolved. The doorway groaned open, revealing a dark corridor lit by faintly glowing symbols along the walls. "Let's move," Lyra said, her voice steady despite the growing tension. The space behind. Inside, the air was cool and dry, a stark contrast to the jungle outside. The walls pulsed with a soft, rhythmic light, as if the citadel were alive. They followed the corridor, which led to a vast chamber. At its center stood a pedestal, holding a crystalline artifact that seemed to hum with latent energy. Elias approached the pedestal, his eyes wide. This must be it, an Erythian power core. If we can study this, we might be able to reverse engineer their technology. Lyra stepped forward, her instincts tingling. Be careful. Something doesn't feel right. As Elias reached for the artifact, the chamber shook violently. The walls lit up with streams of energy, and a deep, resonant voice filled the air. Intruders. You dare disturb the sanctity of the Erythian legacy? A holographic figure appeared, its form tall and ethereal, with eyes that blazed like twin suns. It regarded them with a mix of curiosity and disdain. We mean no harm, Lyra said, stepping forward. We seek knowledge. The Council oppresses countless worlds, and we believe your legacy can help us fight back. She said nothing when the lights went out once more and scattering shadows fell over the common room. The figure's gaze bore into her. The Council, their corruption was foreseen. But the power you seek is not easily given. It must be earned. No. The chamber shifted around them, the walls melting away to reveal a star-filled void. The crew found themselves standing on a floating platform, the artifact now at its center. From the darkness emerged creatures of light and shadow, their forms shifting and indistinct. They creaked up the stairs a moment later, their forms shifting with them, predictably. What is this? Zara whispered, drawing her weapon. Trial, the voice said. Prove your worth, or perish. The creatures attacked, forcing the crew to fight for their lives. Lyra's plasma pistol blazed, while Zara's precise shots took down the faster enemies. Ryn used a portable energy shield to protect Elias and Cora, who worked to decipher the holographic symbols that appeared around the platform. It will never be yours. Do it fast, Lyra said, firing at a creature that lunged toward them. Cora worked alongside Elias, her quick mind piecing together the patterns. As the last symbol fell into place, the creatures vanished, and the star-filled void faded. They were back in the chamber, the artifact still on its pedestal. The holographic figure reappeared, its expression less severe. You have proven yourselves. The artifact is yours. But beware. With great power comes great peril. Use it wisely. The artifact floated toward Lyra, its glow intensifying. As she touched it, a surge of energy coursed through her, filling her with a sense of purpose and strength. She turned to her team, determination in her eyes. We have what we came for. Let's show the Council they're not invincible. As they exited the citadel, the jungle seemed less foreboding, and the storm above had calmed. But Lyra knew their journey was just beginning. The discovery of the Erythian artifact was a spark, and she intended to ignite a fire that would spread across the galaxy. The air within the Erythian citadel felt ancient, charged with an energy that seemed to hum in Lyra's bones. The walls, alive with pulsing lights and shifting symbols, surrounded the team as they delved deeper. This place wasn't just a structure. It was a living testament to a civilization that had mastered forces beyond human comprehension. Lyra took point, her plasma pistol in hand, its soft glow casting dancing shadows on the walls. Behind her, Zara scanned their path with a wary gaze, her combat instincts honed from years of military service. Ryn and Elias trailed closely, their equipment clinking softly as they walked. Cora brought up the rear, her medkit slung across her shoulder, eyes darting nervously in every direction. "This place is incredible," Elias murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. He traced his gloved fingers over a glowing glyph etched into the wall. "The craftsmanship, the technology. This isn't just advanced, it's elegant, purposeful." "Elegant or not," Zara replied, her tone clipped, "I'd like to know why it feels like we're being watched." Catherine settled into the comfortable chair that Molly and herself had purchased for her and settled herself into the cramped chair. "We're in uncharted territory," Lyra said. "Stay sharp. Whatever built this place might not take kindly to visitors." The corridor opened into a vast chamber. Towering columns lined the room, their surfaces shimmering with cascading lights that danced like water. At the center of the chamber stood a raised platform, and upon it rested a crystalline object, a pulsating artifact radiating an otherworldly glow. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, both mesmerizing and foreboding. "That's it," Elias said, his voice filled with awe. He stepped forward, but Lyra raised a hand to stop him. "Hold on," she said. "Let's not rush in blindly," she said, pulling her cloak tighter about her as they walked on. Ryn knelt by the edge of the platform, pulling out a handheld scanner. He frowned as he examined the readings. "The energy output is off the charts," he said. "Whatever powers this thing is, alive almost. It's like the artifact is feeding off the environment." "Raz," Zara muttered. Lyra's instincts prickled. This was the culmination of their mission, but something about it felt wrong. "Elias," she said, "can you read the symbols around the platform?" Elias nodded and approached cautiously. The glyphs surrounding the artifact were unlike any he had encountered before. As he worked, his translator device hummed, spitting out fragmented interpretations. "Energy convergence, gate, trial," Elias read aloud. He turned to Lyra, his brow furrowed. "I think this artifact is a key, but it's tied to something bigger, a test of some sort." Before they could process his words, the chamber trembled. The lights on the columns flared, and a deep, resonant voice echoed through the air. "Who seeks the legacy of the Erythians?" The crew froze as a holographic figure materialized above the artifact. It was tall and imposing, with luminous eyes and a form that seemed to shift between solidity and light. Its gaze swept over them, exuding both curiosity and judgment. Yet they trembled. Lyra stepped forward, her voice firm. "We are explorers. We seek knowledge, to understand and to use it to free our people from the tyranny of the Galactic Council." The figure regarded her silently for a moment before speaking again. "Knowledge is power, and power is perilous. You seek to challenge the Council, yet you do not understand the burden you would bear." "We're willing to take that risk," Lyra said. "We've seen what the Council does to those who defy them. If your legacy can help us, we'll earn it." The hologram's eyes glowed brighter. "To earn it, you must prove your worth. This is the trial." Before they could respond, the floor beneath them shifted. The chamber dissolved, replaced by a swirling void filled with stars. The crew found themselves standing on a series of floating platforms, each separated by a dizzying expanse of empty space. "What the hell?" Zara exclaimed, drawing her weapon. "Survive," the voice commanded, "and the artifact will be yours." From the darkness emerged creatures of light and shadow, their forms fluid and ever-changing. They moved with unsettling grace, their intent unmistakably hostile. The crew had no time to question or hesitate. The creatures attacked. Lyra fired her plasma pistol, the bright bolt striking one of the creatures. It dissolved into sparks, but more took its place. Zara's precision shots kept others at bay, while Ryn activated a portable energy shield to protect Elias and Cora. "We're outnumbered," Zara shouted. "What's the plan?" "Stay alive," Lyra replied. "Elias, can you make sense of this?" Elias's gaze darted between the creatures and the glowing symbols that had appeared in the air around them. "These symbols, they're part of the trial. We need to solve the sequence to end this." "Why does it take so long to do this?" he asked. "Is not exactly painful, is it?" Crispin responded with more control this time, adding a confession to his frenzy. "I've been to watch the trial every night for the last 15 years. "Then solve it," Lyra said, firing at another creature. "We'll cover you." Elias and Cora worked frantically, their hands moving over the holographic symbols. The sequence was complex, a puzzle of patterns and logic that required both speed and precision. Ryn adjusted the shield generator, reinforcing it against the relentless onslaught. "We need your help." "Hurry up," Zara yelled as she reloaded her weapon. "I'm trying," Elias shot back, his voice tense. The platform shook as a larger creature emerged, its form towering and menacing. Lyra took aim, her shots drawing its attention. She watched its face change. As it became larger, its lids flew open. "Zara, with me," she ordered. Together, they focused their fire, chipping away at the creature's shifting form. "Got it!" Elias suddenly exclaimed. He pressed a final symbol and the creatures froze mid-attack. The void around them shimmered, and they were back in the chamber, the artifact glowing brighter than before. The holographic figure reappeared, its gaze softer. "You have faced the trial and emerged victorious. The artifact is yours. But remember, the power it holds is not a gift, it is a responsibility." The artifact floated toward Lyra, its glow pulsating in rhythm with her heartbeat. She reached out and touched it, and a surge of energy coursed through her. Visions flashed before her eyes, ancient Erythian cities, stars being born and dying, and a shadowy figure watching from afar. When the visions subsided, Lyra turned to her crew. She felt stronger, more focused, but also burdened by the weight of what they had uncovered. "We've got what we came for," she said. "Let's get out of here." As they exited the citadel, the jungle seemed less foreboding, and the storm above had calmed. But Lyra knew their journey was far from over. They had taken the first step in a battle that would span the stars, and the artifact was both their greatest weapon and their greatest risk. The Star Chaser lifted off, leaving the enigmatic planet behind. In the distance, the Galactic Council's influence loomed like a dark cloud, but Lyra's resolve burned brighter than ever. Whatever trials lay ahead, they would face them together, armed with the legacy of the Erythians. The Star Chaser sailed through the vacuum of space, its engines humming a steady rhythm. The artifact now sat in the ship's central chamber, secured within a containment field. Its crystalline surface pulsed with light, casting eerie shadows across the walls. Lyra stood before it, her arms crossed, deep in thought. The artifact's power was undeniable, but the visions it had shown her lingered, raising questions she couldn't yet answer. The rest of the crew had gathered in the common room. A tense silence hung over them as they processed what had happened in the Erythian citadel. Zara leaned against the wall, her expression guarded. Ryn fiddled with a portable scanner, his brow furrowed. Cora sat at the table, her hands wrapped around a steaming mug, while Elias flipped through his notes, muttering to himself. "So," Zara finally said, breaking the silence, "we risked our necks, fought off whatever those things were, and now we have this glowing rock. What's the plan, Captain?" Lyra entered the room, her presence commanding as always. She looked around at her crew, her expression unreadable. "The plan hasn't changed," she said. "We take this artifact to Haven, the Resistance base. If it's as powerful as we think, it could be the key to turning the tide against the Council." "And if it's a bomb waiting to go off?" Zara countered. "Then we figure out how to disarm it before it does." Lyra replied. "But we don't leave it behind. We can't." Elias looked up from his notes. "The artifact isn't just a weapon or a power source. It's a repository of knowledge. The Erythians, they encoded their entire civilization into this thing. That's why it's so important. The Council would kill to get their hands on it." "They might not have to," Ryn said, his voice grim. "That much energy in one place? It's like a beacon. If the Council's patrols are anywhere nearby, they'll come running." Lyra nodded. "Which is why we're taking a detour. Zara, plot a course through the Klystron Nebula. It'll mask our energy signature long enough to throw them off our trail." "The nebula?" Zara raised an eyebrow. "You know that place is a navigation nightmare, right? One wrong move and we're space debris." Her friend smiled softly. "Yes, for the most part." "I trust you," Lyra said. "Can you do it?" Zara hesitated, then sighed. "Yeah, I can do it. But don't blame me if we end up inside out." Or, as Zara headed to the cockpit, the rest of the crew began their preparations. Ryn double-checked the ship's systems, ensuring they could handle the nebula's turbulence. Cora inventoried the medical supplies, her movements efficient but tense. Elias continued to study the artifact, his fascination tempered by a growing unease. Hours later, the Stargazer entered the Klystron Nebula. The view from the cockpit was both mesmerizing and disorienting. Clouds of ionized gas swirled in vibrant hues of blue, green, and gold, while arcs of lightning crackled in the distance. The ship's instruments flickered and beeped, struggling to process the chaotic environment. "Keep it steady," Lyra said, standing behind Zara. "I'm trying," Zara replied, her hand steady on the controls. "This place has a mind of its own." Suddenly the ship's sensors blared an alarm. Ryn's voice came over the comm. "Captain, we've got company. 2 Council frigates just entered the nebula. They must have picked up our trail after all." Weed's mouth tightened. Lyra's jaw tightened. "Evasive maneuvers. Zara, lose them in the storm." Zara nodded, pushing the ship's engines to their limit. The Stargazer weaved through the nebula's volatile currents, dodging pockets of plasma and debris. The Council frigates gave chase, their weapons firing sporadically, the shots disrupted by the nebula's interference. "They're gaining on us," Ryn reported. "If they get a clear shot, we're toast." "Not if I can help it," Zara said, her voice steady despite the chaos. She veered sharply, narrowly avoiding a massive arc of lightning. The frigates followed, but one was caught in the electrical discharge, its shields flaring before the ship veered off course. "Well down," Lyra said. "Let's make it 2." The remaining frigate closed in, its weapons locking on to the Stargazer. Lyra activated the ship's defensive systems, firing a spread of decoys to confuse their targeting sensors. At the same time, Ryn rerouted power to the engines, giving them a burst of speed. "They're not letting up," Ryn said. "We need something more." Elias's voice came over the comm. "The artifact. It's reacting to the nebula's energy. I think I can use it to disrupt the frigate's systems." "Please." "How?" Lyra asked. "I'll need to interface it with the ship's core," Elias said. "It's risky, but it might work." "Do it," Lyra ordered. Elias and Ryn worked quickly, connecting the artifact to the ship's systems. The moment the connection was made, the Stargazer shuddered and the lights dimmed. The artifact glowed brighter, its energy surging through the ship. "I've got a lock on the frigate's systems," Elias said. "Initiating disruption, now." A pulse of energy shot from the Stargazer, rippling through the nebula and striking the frigate. Its engines sputtered and its weapons went offline. The ship drifted, powerless, as the Stargazer sped away. "It worked," Ryn said, his voice filled with relief. "We're clear." Lyra exhaled, tension draining from her shoulders. "Good work, everyone. Zara, get us out of this nebula. We've got a resistance base to reach." Row. The journey to Haven was uneventful, but the crew remained on edge. The encounter in the nebula had proven just how dangerous their mission was. When they finally arrived, the sight of the Resistance base, hidden within the asteroid belt of a desolate star system, brought a sense of relief. The base was a sprawling complex of interconnected modules, bristling with defenses. As the Star Chaser docked, a group of Resistance fighters greeted them. Among them was Commander Soren, a grizzled veteran with a sharp gaze and an air of authority. "Captain Kane," Soren said, extending a hand. "We've been waiting for you. Did you find it?" The captain smiled, an obviously positive smile. Lyra nodded. "We did, and it's more than we expected." Soren's eyes narrowed. "Let's talk inside." In the briefing room, Lyra and her crew presented the artifact. As Elias explained its significance, Soren listened intently, his expression grim. "If the Council knows you have this, they'll stop at nothing to get it back," Soren said. "We'll need to move fast. This could be the turning point we've been waiting for." "It's not just a weapon," Elias said. "It's knowledge. If we can unlock its secrets, we might be able to match the Council's technology. Maybe even surpass it." Soren nodded. "Then we'll do whatever it takes. But be careful. Power like this, it changes people." Hacked said simply. As the meeting ended, Lyra stood by the artifact, her reflection shimmering on its surface. The journey ahead would be perilous, but she was resolved. The artifact was their best hope, and she would see this mission through, no matter the cost.